So here's the thing. The Elantra N is a pretty damn good car. Hyundai did an insane job with this platform. Now, the Veloster N and the Kona N, they're both great. I haven't driven either of them. I would love to, but unfortunately I haven't. Now, the Veloster N has kind of like interior. This fixes a lot of those issues in terms of like the interior quality and the materials used. And it also adds a lot of practicality just because it's a much bigger car. The Kona is a little bit different. Obviously it's a crossover, it has a DCT only, no manual, but in my opinion, this is the pinnacle of the Hyundai N Division lineup. The Hyundai N Division did a lot of things to make it a fun driving experience, not only in the exhaust, pops and crackles. Interior design is very hardcore. The seats, the bucket seats are like nuts. Some of the most aggressively bolstered seats I've been in. The brakes are insane. The fact that stock brakes, fully stock, can do 20-minute sessions on track is unreal. Now, I've driven this car on track for a brief moment and it was amazing. The front differential in this car is one of the smartest things that I've ever driven. It basically felt honestly like cheating. And talking about this with my brother who owns the car, it actually promotes like pretty bad driving habits because it does a lot of the thinking for you, and you can be a really new driver, hop into this thing, and you can be insanely fast. Yeah, it's cool, but you know, if you take a driver who's been driving this for years and then put him in an old Miata or like a Dodge Neon, like a spec Neon or something like that, they'll probably like fly off track. Seriously, it's insane, it's cheating. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail about the car. Different things for this one, it has wheels and tires listed below. Falken RT660s, which are a track tire, they're 200 tread wear, very grippy. I had them on my Miata and they do awesome. Wheels helps to drop some weight, so it actually dropped a good amount. You can obviously view that video above. There's also a tune on the car from Sixth Element Engineering, and let me pull up the number here. So according to this chart, the stage 1 tune, which is what this car has, is right around 300 wheel horsepower, which is pretty insane. Now, we're actually going to be testing that when we get their handheld device that can take logs. We will run a virtual dyno and convert that number to an estimated wheel horsepower, and we'll see what it actually makes. But I can tell you right now, it honestly rips. It's kind of dumb, honestly, how easy it makes power. So before we go out for a drive, I just wanted to real quick touch on the interior. If you haven't seen what it looks like inside, it's pretty damn nice. Coming from me with my old cars, this is pretty nice to me. A lot of nice technology that I've never really experienced. Nice suede, they use a lot of this throughout the car, which really makes it feel nicer than it actually is. The overall materials are fine. This is soft touch, plastic here, plastic here. Now, seats are unbelievably amazing. Really, truly, for a car in this price segment, these are amazing seats. They even have a logo that lights up. Not bad. Took the page out of BMW right there. Steering wheel is pretty fantastic as well. You'll notice that the things that you touch in this car are really high quality. Now, they obviously cut prices on things that you don't touch, but in my opinion, that's perfectly fine to do. I'm not going to touch like the upper dash, like in my car, it's soft touch. Why? It doesn't even matter. It's just a waste of money. I would have much preferred they spent that money somewhere else. But like I was saying, steering wheel is awesome. You have a dedicated button for rev matching. If you have a DCT car, I believe that's the N-Grin shift mode, which gives you a horsepower bump. These control your drive modes. You can set up custom ones as well. Digital dash, that kind of goes throughout the car. Kind of hard to show, but it's definitely pretty cool. Has this interesting thing, which is not actually anything. I don't know what its purpose is. We thought it was like a magnet for a phone, but it's not. I think it's just a sticker. Being an Elantra, it has a much larger back seat than the Veloster or the Kona for that matter. Again, this is kind of the pinnacle of the Hyundai N Division. I think that this is the car to get. Like I was saying, this car has some nice wheels and tires. TC 105s, I believe, are the wheel. Falken RT660s are the tires. But anyway, I just want to show you the car real quick because I'm not going to do a lot of B-roll for this video. So anyway, let's go drive it. So right off the bat, when you get into this car, the first thing that you notice are the seats. These are so aggressive in the best possible way. They are incredibly supportive, not only in, you know, lumbar support, but the bolstering is immense, and it makes you feel like you're driving genuinely a very expensive car compared to what this actually is. The shifter and clutch, they're fine, they work, they're very modern, meaning there isn't a lot of like feel to them, but you can't, it's really hard to miss gears in this. It's not a Honda, and it works. The rev matching works incredibly well, and on track it allows you to really dump it in to a corner and just kind of just throw it back. You know, just being able to 100% no effort downshift, that's great. And I know it's weird, but that's actually kind of like a huge deal to me. I love auto rev matching, and I think that any new manual car that's coming out should have that. We're seeing manuals in decline, just make them easier to drive and more people will get them, right? Auto rev matching is a big deal. When you have a system that, there's a lot of cars that will like sense you stalling and kind of save the engine from stalling. That kind of stuff helps as well. I think just making cars as easy to drive is a great thing, and this is no exception. I mean, really, truly, as a daily driver, this is fantastic. You have lane keep, lane centering. I don't know the difference, but basically you can have one hand on the wheel on the highway and you're fine on the highway. Auto rev matching makes it easy. The AC rips, it's great. And overall, it's just a very, very easy car to drive, and not only on the street, but on track. You can watch my track video. I stated multiple times that it was like a very easy car to drive, and I think at one point I said that it was therapeutic. This is definitely the most peaceful car I've ever driven on track. It's very therapeutic, and I believe that. The chassis is so put together, and you can tell that it's incredibly stiff, and that helps so much with making a car feel confident. You know, going through corners, you just feel good. It doesn't feel like you are trying to think that much. It's doing a lot of the thinking for you. And now when you're tuned, that was wheel spin in second, by the way. When you're tuned, you get a lot of power that really makes this experience even better. Now, power on the track isn't necessarily always a good thing. Sometimes it can actually be a bad thing with heat problems. But on the street, having around or above 300 wheel horsepower in this car is the sweet spot. It is amazing. It actually genuinely puts you back in your seat. And this is a freaking Hyundai. These engines are super potent, and they're also very strong. The actual internals are really strong. There have been very little examples of any of these exploding, and these are the same engines in the Veloster N, so there have been some years for people to modify them and try to blow them up. The Hyundai crowd isn't exactly known for being very, I don't know, conservative, so I have no doubt in my mind that this engine can do this for a very long time. And hey, even if it explodes, 10-year warranty. All the areas that you kind of rest your arms, they're pretty nice. This is soft touch, this is soft touch. It's pretty good. Oh my God. Yeah, pretty good. Oh man. So this has an electronic limited slip differential, and it makes all the difference. You know, coming from VW, we have open diffs. Until the Mark 7 and the Mark 8s, LSDs weren't a thing. It's disgusting, but it's true. And having an LSD that is smart like this one is amazing. Nice BMW. on track, you can literally feel it helping you through a corner and adjusting like on the fly. And that makes it one of the easiest cars to drive on track. Like I was saying, it is doing a lot of the thinking for you. Brakes are fantastic. So on track, they held up to a 20-minute session multiple times. Well, actually multiple days, I should say. There are not a lot of stock cars that can do that under like $60,000. 20-minute sessions are pretty nuts for any brake pad and fluid for that matter. So the fact that it was able to do that, and it still is pretty amazing. And on the street, these pads don't squeal or anything. They have some dust, but it's fine. You just wash it off. These brakes are fantastic. There's no way around it. You compare them to the competition like the WRX, those things will fade within like a couple laps of any track. And also the pops out of the exhaust are just hilarious. This is a stock car. I mean, it's a stock car. It sounds like that. It's hilarious. So anyway, those are my thoughts on this car. I can talk about this all day. I think that it's one of the best enthusiast vehicles on the market today. There's a lot of examples of company kind of being lukewarm with their products, and this is the opposite. This is a hardcore, this is a sports car, really truly. This is, if it was a hatchback, it would be one of the hottest hatchbacks ever. So anyway, those are my thoughts. Amazing car. I love this thing. If my brother didn't have one, I would buy one, but I can't have the same car as him, so GR86 will do. I'll leave you with one final pull. All right, see you guys.